After all this time, I found one. Ladies and gentlemen, a sulfur ball in the ruins of the city. This has been tested before, and these are almost, very highly pure sulfur. Look at that, look at that. A perfect sulfur ball, just like the Bible says that fire and sulfur destroyed this place. Wow. I'm so glad I found one. Okay, with this piece of sulfur that I managed to find, I'm now going to burn it and see what happens. Here we go. The whole thing is like sponge. That is not a normal shape. That doesn't look natural at all. That is definitely seems to be a man-made shape. And is this not enough evidence for people to find all of these man-made looking structures, ashen remains, crumble in your hands, in the location where we're told in the Bible as evidence of God's judgment, as described by Josephus, historian, but then also finding circular, almost pure sulfur balls in the middle of the ash, in the middle of the walls and the shapes of the buildings. Is this not enough evidence for us to see that A, the Bible is true, and B, God is a just God, and we need Gomorrah.
So here you can see that ashy layer that's just underneath the surface. This is full of burned pottery. It's full of the fragments of human bones. The question is what evidence is there of this burning sulfur that rained down? Well, it seems that the culprit are these sulfur balls that are also found in this area. I'm gonna burn one of these sulfur balls just to show you how flammable they are. I gotta be careful because, man, when you get a whiff of these things, it's really nasty. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why sulfur balls would only be preserved in water, because if they strike the land, then they're going to burn up. You can see the goo, it's just melting down to goo and then dripping off. So really, anywhere that they would have landed on land, they would have burned up like this, and they would have burned anything flammable around them. This is how the cities in the plain were burned. However, if they would have hit the water of the Dead Sea, that would have extinguished them, and therefore they wouldn't have burned up. And they would have sank down to the bottom of the floor of the Dead Sea and been preserved in a geological layer. I've lived in the biblical world now for over 15 years, and I mean, things just always end up being more obvious than mysterious. So when you have something described in the Bible and you go to that place and you look it over, you look at the excavation work that's been done, there's always not just a fit, but an obvious fit. And so the more that I explore this land, the more that I excavate in it, and the more that I understand these different places and what the Bible describes in them, the more the biblical account just comes to life and is substantiated. And this is a perfect example of this. We're not talking about a burn destruction layer over just one city. We're talking about multiple cities. We're talking about burn layers over graves in the cemetery. And we're talking about a historical source in the Bible that gives us a description of what happened, describing this burning sulfur that is coming down like rain out of the sky. And then in this area, we have this geological phenomenon of these sulfur balls that are preserved in a geological layer and preserved because they were once
Shalom.
under the Dead Sea.
All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakar Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, so continuing on in Jeremiah 49 and 18, it says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son dwell in it. All right, because this place is modern, Sodom, modern Sodom in Egypt, as it says in Revelation 11. All right, and this place is going to suffer the same fate. All right, being completely destroyed to the point nothing is ever going to dwell in it again. And this is, of course, the land, excuse me, the land of the Edomites, all right, which we know as Babylon, you want to call it America, whatever, And their land is going to suffer the same fate of Sodom and Gomorrah because of the wickedness, all right? That's why Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai said the destruction of Sodom was supposed to be an example for all the kingdoms after that not to live ungodly, and this is the worst kingdom ever, man. This is the most ungodly kingdom ever, all right? With a lot of parallels, of course, to Sodom and Gomorrah, all right, all the murder, idolatry, what's known as the main sin of Sodom, which is, let's say, sexual freedom, right? Among other things, man. These people is wicked, man. And every time the earth gets like this, the kingdoms of the earth get like this, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai destroy it. That's why the days of Noah, all right, this time is referenced to by the Lord Yahweh Shai as the days of Noah. All right. Got to the point where Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai said he repented that he made man. Like, it's that wicked. This place is wicked. And the wickedness of this place is just the norm. So that's why when you call it out, you kind of the oddball or the killjoy in that situation. Because the wickedness is just normal here, man. And, and if the generations was to continue to go on and go on, it would just get worse and worse. Because their foundation, speaking on the children, their foundation is just wickedness from the start. So that's why Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to judge this place. And that's why Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is going to judge Esau. All right, going back to the main point of this series, I guess. All right, Esau has to get punished. And it's not evil to want him to get punished. It's not evil to want revenge of your enemies. All right, it would be evil for us to jump the gun and try to take it into our own hands and get revenge by our own means. That's evil. All right, but praying for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to destroy this place is righteous, man. And, Jake gets so hung up on the fact that, Esau has to get destroyed, man. That he's putting aside righteousness. And you 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and righteousness within you, But just for the sake of the point, for the sake of the video, they pushing righteousness to the side to save, to try to save this wicked nation of people. And these are people that, tote Bibles, that believe that they know the truth, which we know they don't. But they believe that they know the truth, and, it's all about love. Well, the scriptures is a book full of judgment, man. All right, we've seen many times Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai destroy these kingdoms for their wickedness. So you would think somebody who's a Bible toter, somebody who reads the scriptures, would at least have an understanding of judgment, of cause and effect, you know. But, 2/3 of the nation of Israel is joined unto the heathen once again, as they've been in many kingdoms before. All right, but Jeremiah 49:18, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. All right. Now I'm gonna go back to Genesis. I ain't gonna read the whole story. Genesis 19:24. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. All right, now as you've seen in the clips, because Esau has his what they call archaeologists and Bible scholars, if you will, and these people got the bread, to go around and search these things out. And you see this, the land of Sodom and Gomorrah is completely, uninhabitable, and the ashes are still there. The sulfur balls are being picked out of the ashes. All right, this is the fire that was raining out of heaven at that time. Now it's gonna be, worse with the which that's a terrible judgment, man. That's a wrathful judgment for those sulfur balls, that fire to fall out of the sky. All right, and the Most High is gonna turn it up even more, with the fire falling out of the sky being these missiles that's gonna hit this place and ultimately destroy it. Once again, Sodom and Gomorrah, the destruction of it was supposed to be a example of how not to live. That's why I got a harsh judgment. So you being Esau, all right, your kingdom, being a kingdom that carries on that tradition, as well as the tradition of many wicked kingdoms, the punishment is going to intensify. So now you have these thermonuclear missiles that's going to fall out of the sky and turn this place into ashes, man. Genesis 19:25, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground, because nothing grows there no more, man. That shit is a wasteland. It says, but his wife looked back from behind him and she became a pillar of salt. And Lot's wife, is an example of people being connected to this place, people loving this place. All right, that's why she looked back, because she loved the place. She didn't want to really see it get destroyed. And that's you people. That's 2/3. Everybody, Salaki. Everybody that's connected to this place, man. All right, you gonna go out with it. And the hopeful elect, being the representation of the lots in this time, or if you want to take it to the days of Noah in this modern time, the people that see the wickedness of this place and, wants it to get destroyed, wants it to get judged. Those who are trying to follow Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability, with the hope to escape. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. All right, the Most High is gonna burn this place. This place is gonna be burned to the ground. To the point nothing, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. Nothing's gonna grow here. All right. No people is gonna dwell here. This is just gonna be a memorial, of a wicked kingdom, man. When you see the smoke going up, you're gonna think about, damn, America cross Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Cause you're gonna see that smoke from the other end of the world. And when it says it's gonna go up forever, not forever, ever, ever, but for a long time, man. Since you wanna conduct yourself, like that Sodom and Gomorrah, you gonna become the new example. Like them ashes over there in Sodom and Gomorrah, and how nothing grows is an example. This modern Sodom is gonna become the new example. This is what happens when you cross your Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right. But Revelation 11:8, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Our spiritual Sodom. Like this landmass is not named Sodom, you know what I'm saying? But spiritual Sodom. The same thing that was going on back then is going on now, man. All the perverseness. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai being totally X'd out of this place. Not to mention all the, the iconoclasm, how they've painted their face over the ancient images of the saints. Yeah, that's one way, that they, crossed out Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, but all his ways, all his righteous judgments, the instruction that he gave the Israelites to live by has been crossed out. And that's why all the nations is wicked. All right, because Israel, in their right mind, are supposed to be an example unto the nations of what to do. And you can even see that on the left-hand side, because these nations do what Israel do. All these nations, if you want to just keep it within the land of America, all right, Israel set all the trends. Israel do everything, whether it be the damn woman or the man, the Israelite man or the Israelite woman. But 2/3 of the nation of Israel heart being so far from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, like the scripture said, they went on to establish their own righteousness. And this is what you get. A bunch of nigga shit, man. But this is the doing. 2/3 never was gonna get it right. But Esau, the earth being given into his hands, he's allowing all this shit, man. And that's why wickedness is thriving on the world right now. So this is spiritual Sodom, all right, spiritual Egypt as well. All the tribes is here together, being oppressed. All right, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to deliver the elect, the hopeful elect. But it's not going to be like in the ancient world, or the deliverance out of ancient Egypt, where it was the whole nation. The Most High ain't doing that shit. He ain't dealing with you niggas in the wilderness no more. So 2/3 of the nation of Israel got to get destroyed, and then just be reborn in the kingdom. All right. But this not Jeremiah, Isaiah 13:19. And Babylon, excuse me, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. All right, so just like you see that land, in those couple clips that I put up, is it's how this place is gonna be. Just a big ass desert. All right. It says, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places, in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. All right, because this judgment is a lot closer than people think it is. You know, in Ezekiel 12, the days are prolonged, every vision faileth. The Most High is gonna judge this place. In your lifetime, because all the signs of the end are here. Really waiting on a couple prophecies. The main one being that MOTB. But people think World War III is it's just in the beginning stages or it's bubbling. War is instant, man. If you ever see about war, it's instant. One of them niggas, Most High put the spirit on one of them rulers to wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm about to bomb some shit. And then it's on. So, as far as the war, that's get escalate in seconds, man. But, waiting on that MOTB, Esau moving in increments, trying to, prepare the people with his wearable devices that he's pushing out, which will ultimately be, implanted, inserted within the human body. And then, the Most High is going to destroy this place, man. But we go to the NLT, Isaiah 13:19. Babylon, the most glorious of kingdoms, the flower of Chaldean pride, will be devastated like Sodom and Gomorrah when the Most High destroyed them. Babylon will never be inhabited again. It will remain empty for generation after generation. Nomads will refuse to camp there, and shepherds will not bed down their sheep. Desert animals will move into the ruined city, and the houses will be haunted by howling creatures. Owls will live among the ruins, and wild goats will go there to dance. Hyenas will howl in the fortresses, and jackals will make dens in its luxurious places. Babylon's days are numbered. Its time of destruction will soon arrive. All right, it's gonna soon arrive. It's gonna come quicker than you think, man. Everybody talk about how they got time or they got a plan. Within 5 years I'm gonna do this, and you don't know exactly when this destruction is gonna come. That's why the scripture says it's gonna come like a thief in the night. Scriptures also say, boast not of tomorrow. You niggas with your 5-year plans. I'm gonna move here. Scriptures tell us to live day to day. Don't even worry about tomorrow. You got the evil of today is sufficient thereof. I hope I said that right. But y'all boy Shim out shot. You gonna destroy this place, man. In your lifetime. All right. 2 Peter 2:6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with the overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. Because that was supposed to be an example. Everybody supposed to look at that land and say, all the rulers, these rulers is wicked. All right, the nations is wicked, man. But they supposed to look at it and say, damn, we can't conduct ourselves like that. We're going to end up just like that. But, of course, as, man gets comfortable in wickedness, man. Ecclesiastes 8:11. Just because the Most High ain't, taxing you for every little single thing you do, the moment you do it, niggas get comfortable in their wickedness. And, that pride leads to more wickedness. So, this is the state that the world is in, where they begging, they provoking the Most High. What are you gonna do? We've been getting away with this shit this long. And that's another reason why, going back to you people that don't want to see Esau get judged. That's another reason why they think he not gonna get judged, because he been getting away with it for this long. You know, what we gonna do? You know, but that's a lack of faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right. Jude 1:7 says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh. All right, we know that fornication is that sexual immorality. All right, going after that strange flesh, man. You know what it is. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, ain't with that, man. That's a part of the law, and that's a sin under death. Straight up, it ain't no plan with it. You know, if you catch this among the people, put them to death. You know, so the wickedness don't spread, you know, amongst, you know, the nation. And you see that now. You know, when you let things go unchecked, you know, other people are gonna get comfortable to do it. Like if you got children in the house with you and you know your son do something, the oldest, let's say the oldest, doing something, getting away with it, they see you ain't putting no judgment down on it, little niggas gonna start doing it. And what's gonna be the excuse? Well, shit, you let him do it. We just doing what he doing. That's why the law perfect, you know. And you can't follow the law perfectly, but the instruction of the law is perfect because it kills all excuses. Ain't no gray areas in it. And you catch him doing that, put him to death. So everybody know, don't do that. So it won't spread, man. That's why the judgment of a whore is what they would call harsh, man. It ain't the Most High being unjust, it's him really saving souls. You know, but I done veered off. I'm gonna go back to Jude 1:7, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Once again, it was supposed to be an example. But Esau doesn't understand judgment. I've been saying this through, I think this is the 4th video, man. I've been saying this through the whole thing. He don't understand judgment. That nigga, he sees Sodom and Gomorrah and say, he'll have an excuse. Well, maybe we'll just do it a different way. It's the same wickedness, but we'll put another spin on it and we'll be all right, you know, type shit. Well, this dude is a demon, man. And the Most High gonna get rid of him, man. You know, Isaiah 34:10, it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever from generation to generation. It shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. All right, because ain't nobody coming back over here. Like once I said, or pardon me, like I said in the previous video, there's not going to be no Renaissance period, part 2, Esau, you know, come up out the depths, you know, pull himself up by his bootstraps and come up and, nah, man. None of that's happening, man. Once you go down, you going down. You stand down. Because there's no reason for you to rule. You know, especially since the Israelites, you know, is going to get a new heart. Most High going to take away the stony heart, give us the fleshly heart. Ain't going to be no reason for him to punish us. So in turn, ain't going to be no reason for none of you nations to rule anymore, because that's the only reason you've gotten rulership, is to punish us. In every time period. If a nation was ruling, Israelites weren't doing what the fuck they were supposed to do. That's why. It's the only reason. You niggas ain't cool. None of that shit. Smart and all that shit, man. You niggas ain't shit, man. You a heathen. You know, and Yahweh Shem Yahushua is gonna make this known right in front of the heathen. You know, I love Israel. I'm dealing with them. You know. But Jeremiah 50:40. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. All right, it's the same point being driven home. This place is gonna get smoked, literally, man. Ain't nothing ever gonna dwell here again. And this is the fate of all you niggas, bringing it back to the original point of the series. It's all you niggas that don't want to see the Most High judge Esau. You going down with him because you are what they call damn, I forget the term. It's one of his terms, one of Esau little terms he used. An accessory. I think that's it. Yeah, you're an accessory to the crime, man, to his wickedness. All right, because you justifying it and you conducting yourself in the same way. You know, guilt by association. That's the term I'm looking for. You guilty by association, man, because you rocking with them. You know, you ain't like you doing it quietly in the cut. I mean, that's wicked too. But you know, in front of these cameras, you know, you can't do this to Esau, the Hebrew Israelites. Y'all niggas evil. What's wrong with y'all, man? We gotta love Esau. That's how we gonna defeat him. That sounds crazy, man. Esau is a war demon. He's a demonic warrior, man. And when you know anything about a warrior, they only understand war, man. Can't talk. You know, even I see that amongst our people, man. You know, as you know, we all grew up saying shit like that. There's some niggas you can't do nothing but get violent with him. He don't understand talking. You don't understand none of that shit. All he know is war. That's Esau. All he know is war. And the Most High gonna bring a war to his ass. It's a war for your ass. I mean, ain't gonna be much of a war. It's gonna be a one-sided beating. But you know what I'm saying? Talbot Shimmy Awashai gonna bring a real war to you. All right, and this war, you know, I'm speaking of at this point is the spirit of the Lord mouth. Spirit of his mouth for the brightness of his coming. See, the brightness of his coming is where, you know, y'all boss Shimmy Awashai gonna start kicking a lot of ass, man. Putting people to death in mass numbers. All right. Isaiah 3:9, the show of their continence doeth witness against them, and they declare their sin in Sodom, and they hide it not. Woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves, and you're gonna get a reward. All right, because you have something called, you know, pride. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at. Rainbow pride, which that's wicked too. That's a covenant between the Most High and the world. That's another subject though. But y'all just damn wicked, man. And the Most High, he gonna judge you for that. He say, woe unto their soul, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. You gonna receive this reward, man. This judgment, this fire, this pain and anguish, man. Famine, chaos, anarchy. You know, it's gonna be the worst time the world has ever seen. You know, which is gonna ultimately lead into the world being in the best state it's ever been under the rule of the Israelites. Is we gonna govern the world how? By the laws, by Yahweh, ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. So everything is gonna flourish, man. You know. But in closing, you know, Esau, you wicked. You know, shit. You got to get judged, man. And all you people, you know, that's associated with them, that's riding with them. All you niggas that's taking a couple of dollars from them, because it's obvious what's going on, man. An idiot can see that. Esau agrees in niggas' pockets, man. And it's not cheaper than a nigga, man. You can buy a nigga for cheap, man. You know. But Esau's gonna get judged, whether you people like it or not. And there's nothing you can do about it, man. You know, this is a book of judgment. Yes, the Most High is merciful. You know, yes, the Most High is long-suffering. But the Most High still gonna get at you if you do wickedness. Not to mention, it ain't no repentance for Esau anyway. This man couldn't change his ways if he wanted to, man. He's programmed to be evil. He's programmed to be that dishonorable vessel, man. The Most High made the wicked even for the dead evil. This is the wicked man. All right, the Most High is going to judge and take out of power. And the Israelites are going to come up in this steed as we supposed to rule. And we going to rule forever. And this should be good news. This is the guy, hey, the nigga even said that, man, going back to the first video. You think that's the gospel? Hell yeah, nigga. How is our enemies being taken down and flattened? You know what I'm saying? Esau, all the nations. Then we come up, ruled in righteousness forever. That's not good news. That's why, you 2/3 of the nation of Israel, man, you niggas deserve to die, man. But I ain't gonna hold you. I hope that video was edifying. Shalom.